It's not clickbait. It's not clickbait. It's literally happening right now. Keanu is asking Ava if she's willing to vote out Rachel. She has so far not given him much, but we know Keanu. There's a chance that Ava being like, I don't know, maybe he'll be like, I got her. I'm annoyed because I need to record the Survivor Australia Survivor video for Patreon. I literally sat down to do it and the feeds just kicked off. But frankly, I will give a summary. Meanwhile, Ashley's stressing me out on the other camera. Ashley, it is not important right now. Mickey told Ashley that Ava wanted to put her up on her HOH week, and Ashley's trying to get to the bottom of it, and Will's trying to deny it, and she's like, I don't believe you, Will, and it's like a whole thing right now. Here's the thing. If Finny wants to be safe, he should just come talk to me. Ava basically telling him straight up, don't put up Rachel, without saying the actual words. Donovan, they give the $10 over on YouTube. The update is not irrelevant. I will say that. We talk about this possibility. This is an extension from last night. Thanks, Britt. All right, I guess I'll just go with Ashley then, he says. But he already said that to Morgan. And now Vince is trying to convince him to do Rachel, which I don't think he should be doing. I'm going to keep it 100. I guess I'll go with Ashley then. Okay. I mean, the odds of this not getting back to Rachel are very low. Okay, so I'm gonna give a very small recap here. Keanu last night had another interaction with Rachel where she again pushed "Don't do Ashley." He asked if she'd come after him if he did, and she basically said yes. He then considered, why don't I just put Rachel up then if she's gonna come after me anyway? Then talked himself out of it. Woke up this morning, has the idea in his head again. He talked to Morgan and asked Morgan if she'd be willing to vote Rachel out if he puts her on the block, and Morgan did not say yes. She didn't say no either, but she didn't say yes, and he said, fine, then I won't do Rachel. Then he talked to Vince, and Vince, finally realizing that Morgan's not going to use the veto on him, tried to convince him to put up Ava. He just said to Morgan this too. But Keanu's saying you can't trust Rachel to vote to keep you if I put up Ava. Too little too late for Vince to do that. Keanu brought up the Rachel idea. Vince started pushing the Rachel angle and is now trying to push the Rachel angle. So Keanu went and talked to Ava to see if she'd be willing to vote out Rachel, and she basically just told him no. So he has again said, fine, I won't do Rachel. And here's Vinny, I assume about to talk to Keanu here. So there's this Will Ashley thing right now. Last night, Mickey told Ashley about the fact that Ava was going to nominate her on her HOH and that Mickey and Will had to talk her out of it. Ashley asked Will about it afterward, and he did his normal thing of like, oh, wow, yeah, huh, okay. He then talked to her again this morning, and she was like, so yeah, Ashley was going to nominate me. He's like, what are you talking about? She was like, what do you mean? I talked to you about it last night, and your reaction told me that it was true. And he was like, no, what? I don't think I was paying attention. No, she was never going to nominate you. And she's like, Will, your reaction told me. He's like, no, I misheard you. I wasn't paying attention. And he's trying to convince her now that Mickey is lying. So now she's pissed at Mickey for exaggerating, even though maybe some of it's true, and so on and so forth. Okay, prior to that, Will did talk again with Ava and did his best to really push hard to convince her that Keanu was lying to her the night before. Keanu tried to convince Ava that Rachel is pushing for her to go up on the block, so on and so forth. You can tell that Ava kind of believes it, but is fully still like, Will was actually pushing hard. Like Keanu's, manipulating you to try to get you to vote out Ashley and keep Vinny. And he's trying to drive a wedge between you and the other women. And if he does that, that's a successful HOH. So really pushing hard. Like he's actually awake right now. And here's Vinny and Keanu. Vinny now pushing Ava again. But it's Vinny, so the push is not a push. This could land on Ava here. Depending on how Keanu took that convo. That's the avenue, Vince. Take that path. Keep pressing that. Of course not. Oh. Oh. Keanu telling Vince that Ava said he never talks to her. That's a signal to Vince. Ava's not your vote for you right now. And a signal to Vince that he needs to be pushing for Ava to go on the block. Will he take that path? Say you trust Ava when she literally just told you that I need to talk to her and you shouldn't be campaigning for me? Of course it's Vince. He has no capability of actually pushing anything. He's only capable of saying, well, I wouldn't want to actually push. I think this is such a missed opportunity from Vince. Ava basically just told Keanu she's not currently planning to keep Vince. Keanu basically just relayed that message to Vince. And he's busy twirling his mustache. Um, oh. Now Vince floating Rachel again. Let me just quickly check the votes here. Yeah, that's actually the better scenario. If Rachel goes up, Vince wins Blockbuster, and Vince actually tries to pull Morgan, they could technically get Rachel out. It's actually possible. But it would require Morgan and it would require Vince to actually pull Morgan over Mickey, yeah. Like, it would require so much work on Morgan and it would require Vince to actually be wearing the pants in their relationship. It's just a lot. It's very unlikely, I would say. We just went to be right back. I don't know if we're petsing yet. I really didn't intend to go live before the ceremony even happened. But really, Vince should not want Rachel on the block, in my opinion. Vince should not want more Rachel on the block because I do think there's a higher chance that Ava votes Ashley out than Ava voting Rachel out. So I mean, in my opinion, order of operations for Vince should be like Lauren or Kelly. Oh, we're back. Lauren or Kelly, number one. Is Ava telling Will about Rachel? I stroked the ego. Yeah, this is all this has done is pushed Ava further away. And Keanu's already used up like the majority of his juice, so to speak. Now, the next danger, of course, is Morgan, who has even more dirt on Rachel and Ashley than Keanu does. And so that is something to continue to watch out for. Morgan and Vinny, by extension, pushing the same thing, backing up Keanu's story, could continue to help push Ava in the direction of keeping Vinny, but I do think that this is a little bit of a problem. for Vinny. Um, and they have great arguments against it. Anyway, I think order of operations for Vince, if he wants to guarantee his own safety, then yeah, sacrificing like Kelly or Lauren would be great. He's not capable of getting Keanu to do that. Next priority, I do think, should be Ava. He should have been working on that from the beginning. The chances of the judges sticking together taking out Ava, I believe, are just higher than pulling Ava's vote. Then Ashley, hoping that you can convince Ashley or Ava to pull against take the shot on Ashley. Then last person you should want next to you at this point, one of the last people is Rachel. In terms of the options, like Ava's just so much less likely to vote Rachel out than Ashley. And he's just that much more dead in the water if Mickey wins that blockbuster. Not to mention the fact that if Rachel goes up in a last minute blindside, that's a scenario where like it could piss Ava off enough that she's also willing to vote Vince out over Mickey too. I think it was very silly of him to go down that path. Yeah, I was getting grossed out by Vince snipping hair in the bedroom. Ugh. I assume feeds are about to go down to pets. I think they've normally been doing that at around 11. And I really need to record the Survivor episode. Um, oh, Rachel now talking to Ava. I don't think that conversation went well. I think that she needs to have another longer conversation. I'm sure she will. Rachel just went up to Ava saying, I just heard that Keanu's trying to tell you that I was pitching for you to go up on the block. That's not true. Ava was very dismissive. Ava does not like these like frantic conversations. And I think she does believe that Rachel was doing that. So I think she thinks that Rachel's lying to her in that moment as well. Will told her, well, so Will told her that it was like that Keanu's trying to manipulate her. Um, but as Will does, he also was like, I mean, maybe that, you know, Rachel might have said something like, I would prefer Ashley over Ava because Ashley's her girl. Like I could see that, you know, stuff like that. I think Ava does believe that Rachel probably pushed her over Ashley. It's just a matter of like how much does that actually matter to her, and if Rachel like adamantly denies it, how much does she believe that, so on and so forth. Yeah, there's plenty of time. Again, I expect there's probably going to be a longer conversation there. And we're at pets. All right. So, as of right now, here's the deal. Morgan will use the veto on herself. Ashley will be the replacement. That is all of that for the same thing that we've expected from before the veto even happened. There's just a lot of dirt to roll around in at this point. As of right now, Ava is still a vote for Ashley to stay, but she's definitely a little bit of has a little bit of waver in her. And there's going to be a lot of conversations with Ava about who pushed who, what kind of conversations were had. I expect the fact that Keanu was trying to float the Rachel idea is going to be a big thing. So we'll see. I imagine that the rest of this week continues to be lock in Ava's vote. And then there will also likely be some form of, can we even get Ava to vote Vinny out over Mickey? If they get Ava's vote for Ashley, can they then also get Ava's vote for Mickey? Might be a question. Although Ashley is now pissed at Mickey because of her talking about Ava and her HOH week. So there's that whole thing as well. I expect Rachel to say she pushed Lauren. I expect Rachel is probably smart enough to say Keanu kept trying to bait me into talking about you, and I always kept it on not Ashley, and it will be mostly true. Ashley will say I specifically never pitched you. Will do his best to back up the information as much as possible. They're really just going to push hard on anti-Keanu stuff. You wouldn't want to vote with Keanu. Meanwhile, Vince and Morgan will push in the opposite direction. Vince and Morgan will say they were trying to push for you to go up. Morgan will say Ashley even floated the idea of voting you out over Mickey. That's where Mickey got the idea that she had the votes for you to stay. And Ashley, then Ava will be like, well, what the hell? That makes sense. That's maybe why Mickey thought she was going to stay, so on and so forth. There's a lot of potential back and forth here. I really think that conversation that Ashley had with Morgan about keeping Mickey over Ava really, really could be her downfall. It's so specific, and it answers a mystery for Ava because she keeps wondering why Mickey thinks she has the votes against Ava. And when Morgan says, oh, it's because Ashley was pushing for you to stay over, or for Mickey to stay over you, it's a solution to that mystery. It's an answer to a question much more likely to be believed because it answers something. So that's important. Can Morgan get Mickey to keep Vince over Ashley? I think that's a harder sell. I think it's a harder sell because Mickey is way closer to Ashley and is fully aware of the cheat man situation and does not like it. So I think it's going to be much harder to get Mickey's vote, but it is Mickey, so you never fully know. Morgan said she wouldn't target Ashley like that because it'll get back to Ashley. This is the thing, though. I think she will do anything to keep Vince. And, you know, if it's clear that Ava's going to vote Vince out, there's a chance, I would say a big chance, that she just goes for it, you know? Especially because now she's going to feel like extra guilty that she didn't use the veto on him. All right, so this little bit of a false alarm stream, but I'm telling you, that was definitely close. That was definitely close. There was a whole bunch of new analysis I would have needed to do if Rachel had gone on the block. But not happening. So we're back to more of the status quo, which is the same stuff we've been talking about. So all right, yes. I need to I need to record Australian Survivor versus the World content for Patreon. If you want to check that out, head over to the Patreon, my Patreon. Very fun stuff going on over there. I will be posting that as soon as I can. I stay spoiler free. I try to record it as soon as I can in the morning. And I will get back to the Genius once, basically like next week or so, once the Australian Survivor starts or stops. But check that out over on Patreon if you want to check out that content. I'm also, by the way, now doing streams on Patreon for the episodes where it's the same format as the Patreon content, where I'm watching the episode. I'm a little bubble on the screen. It's a little bit like of all-in-one package. And if you are a higher tier Patreon, then you can participate in that. We'll get something a little more specific for you soon in that regard as well. Theoretically, we could do that with feeds also. This was just like so last minute. I didn't have time to set it up, but anyway, that's what we got going on. Thanks for hanging out here today. Hope you enjoyed this little tiny stream. I will try to remember the prediction. I mean, at this point, it's almost definitely herself, but we'll see. All right, I gotta go record. Stock watches tonight. You know what? No, I don't have it set up. Stock watches tonight. So check that out too. The survey will be up once the feeds come back. But in the meantime, that's what I got. Hope you enjoyed this little false alarm stream. And I'll see you all soon.